What is going on, everybody? We are going to join in relatively quickly to, again, what is going to be EGF Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm Septilins, and I'm here today with Toxic Gerbil. We've got two schools coming up that we've seen before, and I'm sure they're going to give us quite a show again.
Yeah, these are pretty solid schools. The DePaul University lineup has been looking pretty decent, and the Wichita State University lineup as well. So it's definitely something I am excited to get into. First up, we are going to be having DePaul University's Icaro going up against Wichita State University's Apezilla.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that obviously we've seen these people play before. We've seen these schools before, and I'm sure they're going to offer things that we've seen. I'm not super familiar with their records, but I've seen some matches come incredibly close, like we were talking about earlier, even a Sonic Ditto that went into overtime with lots of lag in between those seconds. So I'm sure quite literally anything can happen.
But yeah, no, DePaul University has a pretty solid track record for themselves. They have a 26-6 victory earlier in the season. They have a 28-1 over University of Connecticut in week 2, which is that's a big victory. They had a 16-10 just last week as well. So they've got a lot of great things going for themselves, and I'm listing off a lot of scores and point values, right? So every time we start a broadcast, I feel it's pretty important to explain the format. It's not a typical format that we see all the time. It's week 6, so I'm sure a lot of the returning viewers and the school representatives in the chat know what the formula is, but I like to say it just in case anyone is watching. So each match we run today is going to have 2 teams of 5 going up against each other. Each team will send in 1 player at a time to play a best of 3 against the player from the other team. If you win a game in that best of 3, you get points for your team based on your remaining stock count. And then if you win the set, you earn an additional 2 points for your team. So, for example, if Icaro were to take game 1 over Apezilla in a 2 stock, he would earn 2 points. Apezilla could then get a 1 stock in response, and then Icaro could close it out with a 3 stock. In total, Icaro would have then earned 2 points for the first game, 3 points for the third game, and 2 points for winning the set, earning his team a total of 7 points, whereas Apezilla would have only earned 1 point for the second game and earned 1 point in total for his team. So that's how the format works. We're going to play out all 5 games between the 2 teams, no matter what. If a team is deemed so far ahead, they automatically win. The enemy team can't catch back up. We will still be playing things out. And with that being said, perfect timing. We are getting into it. And we have Wichita's Apezilla on the hero going up against Icaro on this Bayonetta. And already it is a very strong early start for Icaro.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding 71% against the hero is going to be incredibly valuable. You really want to make sure he can't open that menu, can't use any abilities. You want to make sure that he burns that MP as fast as possible to avoid being eliminated. We know Bayonetta, she's not as strong as she was in Smash 4, but she still is a relatively strong hero to see. And I mean, right now we're seeing that proven pretty quickly. Is still 0% already 30 seconds into the match.
Yeah, still 0%. In 96 already on this hero. He's low mana too. Very little options remaining for him. He has this bounce up, but against the Bayonetta won't protect you from too much. And that's a really, really solid projectile hit off that selection menu. 35% on his Bayonetta. But look, the hero here, Apezilla, already running very dangerously low on mana. Remember, hero has to hit his opponent to get mana back or die. And he's not doing a whole lot of hitting, which means dying is the only option.
Yeah, not doing a whole lot of hitting, but definitely doing some dying, as we see already down the stock. Yeah. But like you said, back to that mana being topped off at 100. Right now, we just see them playing, in my opinion, far too defensively to be going up against a Bayonetta effectively.
Yeah, Bayonetta is a character who really, really likes to punish you. She doesn't have amazing openings and combo starters of her own. She doesn't have great disjoints or approach tools, but if you miss space against her, she is going to punish you incredibly hard for it. But Hero is also a character with incredible punishes, as we saw right there. A fully charged neutral B punishing a jump read takes a very early stock, but even then, Apezilla is still behind 56% to Icaro's Bayonetta here.
Yeah, Ypsilon finally finds that opening. Like we said, got rid of that stock, but still finding themselves quite far behind in percentage. So now it really comes down to spacing correctly, because like you mentioned already, Bayonetta, if the opportunity opens up, she's going to find it. She's going to deal a lot of damage very quickly. Hero needs to be setting the pace of their own. I think they need to be damaging this Bayonetta much more often, just constantly making sure she doesn't have openings. But right now, both these players playing very respectively, constantly getting into this space, and neither one of them really want to be the one to make the engagement.
Yeah, it's really easy to say, like, oh, Apezilla should just go in and hit Akaro, but Apezilla is playing Hero, right? And Hero is a very slow character. Not a lot of mobility, very poor frame data on his aerials, but he does have some disjoints going for him. He's got great projectiles, though, and what that mana bar, those spells he has on his down B, mean you're sort of forced to approach him, or he's going to have these incredibly powerful projectiles coming your way. So I understand why he's playing this defensive playstyle. The problem is, we see Ikaro going in, but Ikaro's not getting punished for his approaches. That's really where the problem is.
Yeah, most definitely. We see very little punishment. Like I said, just a large respect coming from both of these players. They don't really want to get in the other one's face, and that is definitely working out a lot better. And then the combo drop, though, is going to be fast, and that's going to be a little bit sloppy. But right now, Bayonetta, much better position to take this series home, but Hero still has plenty of time to turn this around.
And we have Akaro sitting at 2 stocks with high percent. Remember, in this format, percent does matter. Just last week, we had the first ever match where stock count mattered. A team won 3 out of 5 sets, but they still lost because the 2 sets they lost were so dominantly won by the other team. So every single stock in this format can end up mattering, which means this 89% on Akaro is pretty scary, and it's very, very important that Apezilla get rid of this stock, but it looks like he won't be able to, as the double F smash will be what takes the game for Akaro, putting him off to an early 2-0 lead, taking game 1 over Apezilla.
Yeah, Bayonetta's forward smash, a very damage-heavy move, and one that can kill off the sides relatively early. It's in the up smash, just deals lots of damage, but doesn't have as much knockback as that forward smash, which just, as we saw, can knock you off the map pretty much without a second thought. So the Bayonetta, I think, definitely had the advantage for majority of that fight. Like you mentioned, Hero has to play slow, but I think maybe we were seeing them play a little bit too slow, not taking advantage of opportunities that they could have, and really not using their abilities as much as I think they could have benefited from.
Yeah, the real danger of it is getting witch timed, I think, but witch time only works if you're close enough to Bayonetta, I believe. I think that's what they transferred over from Smash 4. I don't actually see a lot of Bayonetta, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. So if you're at your safe distance, as long as you're not overspending your mana, you're managing resources properly, you can try and throw out some of those stronger projectiles. Hell, even just charging your neutral B is an incredibly powerful option that forces your opponent to approach you. The same way as Samus can do it, the same way a Cloud can do it with charging limit. It's a pseudo camping tool where you're not actively pressuring your opponent, but you're building up a resource they don't want you to have. Right, that forces them to come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what this game is all about, is just being one step ahead of your opponent. And that's really what we saw effectively throughout that match, is the Bayonetta just constantly one step ahead. And like I already said, that worked out very well, especially toward the end there. They found their pacing, they found their momentum, and we're probably going to see them do it a little bit more. But we're going to jump to a quick break first. Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, so don't go far. We've still got quite a few games in store for you.
welcome back, everybody. We have game one actually being brought back to you. Both players agreed that game one that we just played was too laggy, so we've remade the lobby. One of the players has switched to a different switch, and this is going to be what counts as game one. Both players agreed on it, so we're calling the gentleman's rule, and we are playing it out as is from here on. So just a reminder, we do have DePaul University's Akaro going up against Wichita State's Abezilla. Akaro on the Bayonetta and Abezilla on the Hero. And out the start of game one, it's much, much more even than it was last time we played. Last time was nearly a 0 to death, and now percents are staying pretty even.
Yeah, they're definitely staying even. I agree on that. Wichita State's Hero definitely just being much more aggressive than we saw last time. Started the engagement, starts using this menu a little bit more, and is finding a little bit more value for it. Still kind of in the passenger seat on the lower side of this engagement right now, but definitely making much more effort to keep it even than they were, I think, last game.
Yeah, now he is completely out of mana. If he goes off stage, he will not be able to use his up B to recover. So he definitely needs to land some hits. Remember, that is how you get your mana back on Hero. You need to land hits, but the other way to get it back, wow, this is deja vu. The other way to get it back is by dying. There it is. He loses his first stock, and only 76% on this Bayonetta means that Ikaro might be sitting pretty, but Hero is definitely a character who can pull some kills out of absolutely nowhere at these middle percents.
No doubt, and here we go, 92% already, that one move, finding a lot of value. Gonna have up to 100 now. Definitely positioned to win this, but currently out of mana once again. There's only two ways to get this back.
Yeah, there's only two ways to get it back, and he's pretty far from dying, so he's going to need to hit some good strings to build his mana back, because only 30% mana is not a healthy amount to have. That's like 1.5 projectiles coming out.
Yeah, right now back up to 40 mana and 135%. Even without the mana, this is kill potential.
Yeah,
you just got to get
for sure.
The mana. 73% on off the side of the map. Gonna have to use mana to get back. So unfortunately, you lose just what you gained. And right now, you're looking at combo.
This is a brutal combo.
Relentless combo, doesn't find the elimination, but
yeah, it's
still
not Smash 4 right now,
there we go. Elvin, no, Hero is able to make it back with that mana. I thought they were already too low, and yeah, there was probably the biggest difference between Smash 4 Bayonetta Bayonetta is the combo doesn't kill as deeply as it used to. So right now, Hero down basically an entire stock, looking like it's about to be 2.
Yeah, down a lot of stocks here, goes to 0%, 100 mana, lose that stock, and now it's a 3 stocks to 1 differential, but 143 on Akaro here means he will probably be losing his stock pretty soon. Abezilla completely powered up. He's got the oomph, he's got the reflect, the bounce, and we see Ikaru's trying to wait out these buffs as best as possible. Now it's the zoom, I think. I do not remember the names, but we see the up air come through, evening up the stock count down to 2 to 1, but still a full stock lead for Akaro here as he finds a nice little string to get percent for himself.
Yeah, Akaro definitely being more comfortable on the Bayonetta. That warm-up round definitely coming in handy, finding very valuable combos. And right now, Hero just struggling to find really anything. Using the mana already down to 24, and if they die now, that mana count won't matter. So they're really going to have to find some valuable hits here if they want to keep themselves alive any longer. Yeah,
74% already means that Abezilla is being put into some dangerous territory. And honestly, maybe he didn't want to remake game one, because he's doing worse in game one so far than he did in the one we previously played just a few moments ago, and this could be it. He's at 110, 130, not quite going to find it. An up air maybe would have killed, but probably not quite in the correct spacing for it, but 132 means any big hit, like a forward smash, like an up smash, will finish off this last stock and secure a 2 stock for Akaro.
Yeah, if we see Akaro drop the forward smash elimination, I'll really start to feel a little bit of deja vu. But right now, 3 mana, 130%. It's pretty much over for looking to find some value. You're going to use Psych Up to get extra damage, but now they're at 150, which is especially against Bayonetta.
Yeah, but he's full rage. It could be one single hit taking this stock away. And remember, every stock does matter in the format. So if Abezilla can take the stock, it would be very important. There it is.
A very cheeky backslash or flame slash there, down to 10 at 170, but nope. There it goes off the side of the map. Takes the Hero off, confirms that final stock. So Akaro, things looked a little bit sloppier there, but a much more aggressive engagement from, I think, both players.
Yeah, a much better start and a little bit of a better ending. He was able to find out that clutch last stock and This time, it's only going to be a 1-stock lead coming out of game 1 for Akaro as we look to start going into game 2. How do you think that this matchup is going, and where do you think that Akaro or that Apezilla will want to take Akaro for game 2?
I think Apezilla would find a lot of value on a map maybe without platforms, and I think a lot of people might disagree with that. But the less mobility you can offer a Bayonetta, the more vulnerable she is to combos being hit. So while the hero might suffer a little bit from less platforms, they definitely come out on top against a Bayonetta because the less room she has, like I said, it's going to be much harder for her to pull off combos. And I think I think hero versus Bayonetta is a difficult thing to run into. And I feel like when you play the hero, you just have to be constantly aggressive and taking really high risk scenarios if you want to find early stocks.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think we're going to end up somewhere like Final Destination, like Kalos, possibly even Town and City. Town and City has the highest blast zones in the game, and Bayonetta definitely likes taking her opponents up toward that top blast zone where situations can start feeling very scary. So going to a stage like that where it's going to be very hard to die off the top could add a lot of safety to the hero's game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, those platforms makes Hero a little more easy. He can cover more options than he can when there's those platforms to find the eliminations. So it's a crucial thing, but they could just go to a comfort map, one of their favorites, something that they enjoy playing on. We could pretty much see any map right now. PS2 is likely as well. That's something that is picked very, very often, especially in the second and later rounds. But I do agree. I think Final Destinations are most likely map to appear.
Yeah, a little bit of a cheat peering into the captain's chat. The bans are actually going to be exactly what we'd think, right? FD and Smashville. Akaro definitely thinking along the same lines we are on. He doesn't want to go to those flat stages. That leaves Kalos as a very viable remaining possibility. You do allow Bayo to have wall jumps, but I feel like that very rarely matters.
Yeah, Kalos is kind of your, I don't want to say last resort, but with Town and City and Final Destination being banned, you've kind of got to find another map with.
You're definitely not taking Bayo to a tripod, right? You're definitely not going to, you're definitely not going to somewhere like Yoshi's Story, right? Obviously. Right. There is consideration for a stage that is relatively flat with some platforms in the name of Pokemon Stadium 2, and it does seem like the pick is going to be Pokemon Stadium 2 for Wichita here. Makes sense. I think I personally would prefer Kalos. However, Hero is a character with very good disjoints that enables him to shark platforms very nicely. So Pokemon Stadium 2, the platforms don't really enable Bayonetta's combos, but it does allow Hero to stick to that game plan a little bit. It also makes getting down from disadvantage a little bit easier. So I definitely understand this pick. I do think it's pretty good.
PS2, it's not as comfortable maybe as Final Destination. And we talked about Kalos, but it's a map that could work out as well. It's not the tri-platform, so there's a little bit more versatility in the aerials. So Hero is going to have to keep up an aggression that we were seeing early on today.
Yeah, it is also important to note that it is the largest horizontally legal stage in terms of space on stage, which gives Hero a lot of room to run around, look through these down B menus, find those power-ups, find those really powerful projectiles, while Bayonetta has to run after him.
Yeah, most definitely. We see an ability coming out very early, and they're tied in percentage, but the mana just being dumped in the way that I think it should be for this hero to become successful against the Bayonetta. You really need to be that constant level of aggression and just in the Bayo space, which is, of course, easier said than done, but keeping up this momentum, I think, could really work out.
Yeah, and every time you hit your opponent while you're at 100 mana, you're basically wasting mana. So it's, this is a great
phenomenal turnaround
from Apezilla here. So that's going to be a really, really early first stock. Only 45% on him, as Akaro is stuck at 0% on his second stock already.
Yeah, losing a stock that early on against a hero who's keeping up this level of aggression, that could spell disaster. Right now, you're going to have to adapt your playstyle from the first map, and you're going to have to play maybe a little bit more defensively or even more aggressive to make sure he doesn't have the time. You need to be making your shots as Bayonetta right now if you want any hope of taking this series.
Yeah, and we see the triple forward air to end the combo there for Bayonetta, not trying to go for the up air. I think it's a lot harder to be in the correct spacing for that than it used to be. Another great sleep. That won't kill, but that's a lot of percent going on to Hikaru as Abezilla really starting to run away with this game one. A complete reversal. Great zoom from him. It means he's going to have so much space to work with, but a really predictable recovery is, or not recovery approach, is going to get Witch Time, evening up the stock count, but immediately an answer comes through from Abezilla, and now he is a full stock ahead over Hikaru on his counter pick here. It seems to be working out really well for him.
Yeah, PS2, definitely a valuable map pick. I was a little hesitant to see it at the beginning, but it's definitely proving to be working out. Like you said, goes for the sleep once again, but misses it. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's proven to be a very valuable combo so far. So they're going to probably try to keep up that same momentum. Right now, no mana online. So this, again, is that moment. You've got to get very aggressive because you don't want to give up a stock just to recharge your mana.
Yeah, but we do see the aggression coming out a little bit. There's some good spaced aerials from Abezilla. Not going to find too much though. And now, low mana off stage is a very scary situation to be in. He zooms back to stage, makes back safely. No punish comes up from Hikaru. Obviously, zoom is random. An incredibly hard move to punish. And a very low recovery will actually make it back. And now, Abezilla sitting pretty confidently on stage. Not a ton of mana, but he's got enough for most spells he'd want to use here. So he's feeling pretty comfortable. 122 means he's going to have rage and not quite in kill percent. Now he's going to cross that threshold. Oh, and he gets stage select on the recovery. Great coverage from Hikaru. Evens up the stock count, but 66% against a hero is not a safe place to be.
Oh, not a safe place.
Incredibly powerful projectiles, not quite going to kill. Great DI, but 130% on this Bayonetta while Abezilla is still sitting at 0% means he is incredibly comfortable. He's got this oomph charged up and ready as well. Any aerial will take the stock here. He just has to find it, and Hikaru has to play perfectly to make a comeback happen.
Yeah, Hikaru definitely in a difficult position to come out on top of this engagement, and down but not out completely, as we know Bayonetta can dump damage in very quickly, very effectively, but right now, this is looking like a really good, easy win for Hero, but out of that mana pool once again, so it's really going to come down to how well can you play the center stage and not get comboed yourself while trying to find this literal last hit.
Yeah, it's just one hit, but he can't find it, right? It's often the last hit that's the hardest to find. Never mind. I guess there it is. I was going to talk about the last hit's always the hardest to find because, you know, like, you get predictable. You go for very consistent options looking for that hit, but it took him a while. But Abezilla did finally find it, and he takes game 2 in a one stock over Hikaru, tying things up and bringing us to a game 3 in this first set of the match.
Yeah, this actually turns out a lot closer than I thought it was going to. That first, not counted around anymore. They both played very slowly, very defensively, but the further into this series we continue to get, the more aggressive both of them are becoming. And that, I do think, tips this engagement in Hero's favor, as I talked about earlier.
Yeah, I definitely think the onus is on the hero to make the plays happen. Bayonetta is a character who really execution checks her opponents. Bayonetta is a hard character to play. You have to have great spacing. You have to have great combos and punish game. But one of the biggest things of playing Bayonetta is forcing your opponents to make mistakes. You have an insane punish game, but she's not great at generating openings for herself naturally, which means you need to play in a way that forces your opponent to approach you so they can misspace something and you can punish it. And the onus really is on the person playing against the Bayonetta to execute and beat the Bayonetta, right? So it's on Abezilla to make it happen. In game 1, he wasn't quite able to, but it was pretty close. And now he's found his footing. He's figuring things out. He's playing better, and he was able to take game 2.
Yeah, and taking game 2, tying it up quite literally to the T. They both end up coming out on top of that one stock victory. And right now it really comes down to who takes the lead on which one of these players performs better. We've seen them both in their ideal position. They've both taken a series or they've both taken a match. And right now it came down very close both times. Like I said, Hero definitely looking a little bit better. But as we know, Bayonetta in her prime and when that player is at their absolute best is almost unstoppable. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this really go in either player's favor.
Yeah, Bayonetta is a character who's definitely suffered some swings from the nerf hammer, but is still 100% absolutely a force to be reckoned with. She has incredible combo potential. Her kill power is definitely toned back a lot, but when you can put on that much percent that quickly, it tends to not matter. You tend to be able to end up finding those kills with something like a witch time, a smash attack, a back air. So it's really important for this hero to find the openings he needs to get and not get the absolute mess comboed out of him, which he's done a much, much better job of in game 2.
Absolutely.
And here we go into game 3 here. We'll see if Apezilla is able to close out the set, keep his momentum from game 2, or if Akaro will be able to run it back. And we are on Lilac Cruise, which is an incredibly jank stage a lot of the time.
Yeah, Lilac Cruise, I'm shocked to see it. Not quite the usual tri-platform we see, but still has those 3 platforms up top. And the ledges are always a little bit wonky. We all know that. You've played the game. You unfortunately know the curses Lilac Cruise can cause. But right now we see the hero dumping a lot of damage in, but paying the price as they are not playing that defensive style. They need to be in early game to be farming that mana after finding early damage.
Yeah, both these characters very susceptible to getting pineappled on this stage. They have recoveries that are pretty directly vertical and can fall prey to getting clipped under those ledges. And here, once again, we see out the gate, it's Akaro taking an early percent lead in a great little gimp from Apezilla, or not from Apezilla, onto Apezilla by Akaro is going to give Akaro a really, really nice early lead as these guns make Bayonetta feel so hard to approach. And I feel like that's exactly why we saw Akaro counterpick this stage. Those slants in combination with that platform acting as almost a roof over the Bayonetta's head make her so hard to approach with those guns firing. Like, look at how much they cover on this stage. So I really don't know what Apezilla can do here besides maybe go for bounce. If you get bounce, it's such a great opportunity, but he's not rolling for it. He's not finding it. He's already low mana, and he's eating such high percent punishes that he's already left 3 stocks to 2, and he's down percent. It's such a bad look for him. Akaro is not playing around. He is playing the game he needs to play, and it's not the most exciting, but it's exactly what makes you win.
Yeah, most definitely. Apezilla looking sloppier than we've seen so far today, and kind of paying the price for it. Like you said, are we kind of a wow? All right,
that's 44%.
A little bit of very free 44%, but right now Bayonetta playing the long game, playing the long distance, and gonna find a 4. Oh no, not an elimination. I was gonna say, oh no, that's gonna be the elimination. Speaking of being pineappled underneath,
yeah, that's speed. I don't think he realized how far he would go with that speed after that double jump.
Yeah, that's
an incredible distance. Yeah.
Definitely unfortunate to see, but Hero struggling at the moment, just trying to turn this around. A very unfortunate pineapple underneath the map just when they thought they had the opportunity to continue kind of keeping this even. Right now down an entire stock, and they're really going to have to dump the damage quickly. They've got half their mana to do it. The snooze does not connect, so that's going to be unfortunate as well. And they're dumping the damage piece by piece, but they're going to have to find a lot of damage much faster than they're able to right now if they have any hope of turning this around.
Yeah, and Apezilla is really spending his mana leniently. He does not have a lot to work with, and he's going for ambitious options like that thwack we just saw him go for it, and he's getting punished for it. They're not hitting, and we know when Apezilla is this behind, he has to go for those high killing options, those hard hitting moves. The problem is those are the predictable and punishable options.
Yeah,
this is a really funny interaction.
Yeah, being predictable is definitely the worst spot you can be against the Bayonetta, so that's going to be difficult to find any value. There comes the combo early on. The stocks are tied, except for the fact Bayonetta currently has one more, and Apezilla just trying to do everything, but being zoned out just an incredible amount.
Yeah, already down to 100%. The speed is incredibly threatening, but Akaro playing it really smart, fades back, doesn't let Apezilla get onto him, and now back on stage, feeling fine, 100% to 100%, but Akaro down, almost pineapple himself there, down or up an entire stock means that if he gets this, he will have a huge 4-point lead for his team, and it's a great opening, but he doesn't quite find it. 125% though on this hero means the rage is very much starting to build up, but a great wish time should be the end of it. Now, no DI in the world is going to save Apezilla there. He goes flying off the side of the screen, and it's going to be Akaro taking it in a 2-stock, earning a total of 5 points, 2-1 for DePaul University over Wichita in this first game between the two teams.
Yeah, first game that kind of took a little bit longer than it was supposed to. Of course, that connection error in the first round kind of makes us go, whatever. It is what it is. Smash infamous for going over the schedule necessary. And that's going to be, like we mentioned, that first set. We've got 4 more between these 2 schools, and we've got plenty of games coming up after that. But we are going to throw it to a quick break while we get our next players in here, and we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes, so don't go too far.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are hopping straight into Game 2 between DePaul and Wichita. This time we have DePaul University's Matt Beach on this banjo going up against Wichita State's There It Is on Link here. Neither of these characters are too incredibly popular. We don't see a lot of them, but they are both very cool, interesting characters in their own rights.
Yeah, as a Link player myself, I'm excited to see one here. Link, one of my primary heroes for this, and Banjo, a character that I'm honestly not too familiar with. I don't play him, and I don't often play against him. So I think we're going to see a lot of high value. The one thing I know about Banjo is he's a pretty high risk, high reward hero, which I think can fare very well against a Link player like this.
Yeah, the very notable thing about Banjo is obviously that Wonder Ring, of course. You only get 5 of them per stock, so you need to use them very smartly, but they are an incredibly powerful tool. Insane armor, insane mobility, insane power, kills early, does good damage, it really does everything, but you only get 5, so you need to use them sparingly, and we've seen great uses of them from Matt Beach so far, and also these projectiles from the Banjo, Matt Beach has been using absolutely amazingly. We think of Link typically as being a pretty projectile-heavy character, but he's getting zoned out very hard by Matt Beach on this Banjo in Game 1 so far.
Yeah, Matt Beach definitely finding
that's
no. The most unfortunate thing I think I've seen tonight. You hate to see it happen so early on. It's looking like it could be a 3-1 very early lead.
Not quite, though. Great forward air from There It Is to even up the stock count. Or not even up the stock count, I guess, but take the stock. He's still down an entire stock because of that unfortunate SD we saw from him. And now, percents are back to even, but it's right back to that zoning game and that spacing game for Matt Beach. These eggs, these grenades are putting on so much pressure, and then right when There It Is thinks he's woven around them, Matt Beach is right there with the hitbox, that nair, that dash attack, getting in there to really stuff him out.
Yeah, definitely trying to find a lot of early value in Wichita. It's possible for them to be able to turn this around, but it's going to be very difficult to win against a Banjo, like I said, that can dump out a lot of damage quickly and is relatively high risk, high reward.
Yeah, it's very high risk, high reward, but you can take a lot of risks and then wait to be rewarded when your opponent's this low on stock count. And there it is, the Wonder Ring comes out. I was talking about it. It's an incredibly powerful option, and it's going to be at like 70%. What closes out the 2 stock in Matt Beach's favor, earning 2 more points for his team, ballooning their victory to be up to 7-1. That's a pretty convincing lead out the gate. It's not monumental. It's definitely not the biggest we have ever seen, but it's not close. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely not close at all. A very high value elimination and just win for Banjo as a whole. Really not much to say other than as a Link player, you'd be playing much more spacious against a Banjo.
Yeah. We saw way too many approaches from There It Is, I think. There were a lot of approaching forward airs that I strongly disagree with.
Yeah, agreed. Just playing the aerial game as a Link is kind of a risky thing to do. You get a lot of value in that mid ground. I mean, you can win in an aerial fight, but against Banjo specifically, I think is a very difficult thing to really go up against.
Yeah, for sure. So as the resident Link player here, what do you think about the matchup? What do you think about the stage selection that we should be looking at going into Game 2 here?
I think Link gets a lot of value off tri-platform maps. I think he can get value off of Kalos as well. It's something that it's a little unconventional, but I already mentioned you find a lot of value in the middle of the map and just mid-game as a whole. If you can find those combos, and in particular the ones based around using the bomb or maybe your up smash or just your projectiles as a whole, I think was the really big difference we saw there was we didn't see a lot of projectiles coming from Link.
Not at all. I saw like 1 bomb and 1 arrow. There was very little. And yeah, I said it at the start, right? Link is known as being a very projectile-heavy character. So if you're not throwing them out, it either means your playstyle is very interesting or you're maybe a little under pressure from this Banjo, right? You're feeling the threat of him. But Link should be the one winning the projectile war. You have to step up your game. You have to just play on that same footing because you should be the one coming out on top in the end.
Yeah, most definitely. You should definitely be the one finding value and using projectiles, like I said, and I hope we see them a lot more in the second round as we go back into a Link v Banjo. But if he doesn't use any more projectiles than last time, this is going to be a very quick win for our Banjo player.
Yeah, it definitely... It really just comes down to There It Is stepping up his game, right? Like there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, but it's just fundamentals right now.
Right.
Like, look at this projectile pressure from Matt Beach. We see there it is trying to aggressively take space and approach Matt Beach when that's not what you have to do. You have to be the one making the Banjo come to you. He doesn't have those great aerials. He has decent ones, but they're not disjointed. Your sword will suck them out. Your projectiles will go through them. If you can make and burn your Wonderwings to approach you, which is fine, because then they're not being used to hit you like is happening right now. There it is, already down a lot of percent here, 50% down already, and he's in kill percent. This could be a confirm, not quite going to find it. I think the percent's a little too low still, but there it is, just falling so behind already out the gate in stock 1.
Yeah, Banjo having almost double the value we see Link and percentage-wise, but no, Link's able to find a little bit more damage, but as a Banjo player, you've got to get that percent a little bit higher if there's any hope of really finding these early kills. It's still 3-3, but right now, Link still not using the projectiles necessary. Banjo finding a lot of combo potential against this Link player who's just maybe a little too patient.
I wouldn't say he's patient at all. I'd say he's going in way too much. I'd say he's not being patient enough, as a matter of fact. But the one silver lining is there is only one Wonder Wing remaining on this stock for, there it is. So there's not that much extra credit potential in terms of resource value for Matt Beach. Those Wonder Wings will only come back online when this stock is taken, so we're not going to see that rack up. And there it is, right? There it is, pulls out the projectiles, and then does well against Matt Beach. Like, what a shocker, right? He needs to be doing that more. It's completely within possibility. Things are back to dead even, 2 stocks to 2. Percent is pretty even here. And he can just play that smarter game that he used to just take the stock there. But he's jumping in, he's forward airing. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, the forward airing and the jumping in is definitely finding not nearly, any value, if at all value. And it's just a foolish mistake to be making as a Link player, I think, as we talked about patience a minute ago. And Link is all about patience. It's all about projectiles, and it's all about capability. As a projectile-based hero, if you're going to play a projectile character and not use projectiles, you're asking to lose the game.
Yeah, but here it is. Like, all the success we see from there it is, right, is him sitting back. He's hit some great arrows, some great boomerangs, and some great bombs. And now we see he's actually up percent on this stock. So it's working out. He's slowing it down a little bit, but right there, he goes for that option in Matt Beach's face and he gets punished for it. And there's the stock gone. But 115 on Matt Beach means that he is also within kill percent. We saw last stock, he took the stock pretty much immediately, and now, yeah, exactly. Percent's back to dead even, stock's back to dead even. It's 0-0 last stock. And it's looking a lot cleaner for there it is right now.
Yeah, a lot cleaner for there it is indeed. And it was almost the second we started talking about projectiles, you remembered to start using them because it really made a massive difference in terms of just performance as a whole. Like I said, a Link player not using projectiles.
Oh, no.
And that was actually a super nasty combo.
That was so dirty.
We on the recovery, and there it is. Going to be eliminated again, but only by 1 stock this time. A massive difference from our second game.
Yeah, only 1 stock is very different from game 1, but you have to remember there was that SD for there it is in game 1, so we can only imagine what could have been. But even that being said, that game being taken for Matt Beach means not only does he get the 1 point for the game, he also gets the 2 points for the set, meaning the total score is now going to be 10-1 in favor of DePaul University going into game 3 between Bobby Time and Genosis.
Yeah,
which
DePaul
means,
doing a great job so far, definitely establishing a dominance that we did talk about earlier. So they've really got a good team under their belt. They're performing great so far.
I like to point out every time we're in situations like this that the most points you can get in a single match between 2 players, a single best of 3, is 8 points. A double 3 stock will result in 6 points for games and stocks remaining, and then 2 points for winning the set. Currently, DePaul has a 9-point lead over Wichita State, which means even if Bobby Time were to double 3 stock and have an absolutely dominant performance over Genosis, if Genosis were to double 3 stock and have an absolutely dominant performance over Bobby Time, Wichita would still be down a point. That's when you know things are very bad for the losing team.
Yeah, absolutely. And things hopefully are going to look better for them, but we are going to throw it again to that quick 2-3 minute break as we pull in our next set of players. So we'll see you guys in just a minute. Once again, don't go too far.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are bringing you Game 3 right now between DePaul University and Wichita State University. We have Bobby Time for DePaul on the Pokemon Trainer, and we have Genosis on the Bowser for Wichita. And these are two characters that we end up seeing a lot of in EGF. They're both very, very popular. Typically, the Bowsers perform pretty well, and the Pokemon Trainers don't perform as well, but out the gate, it is a very, very good lead for Bobby Time on this Pokemon Trainer. This Squirtle is putting in a ton of work against this Bowser.
Yeah, most definitely. Bobby Time's Turtle coming out a little bit more on top than Bowser's Turtle here, but
yeah,
very easy for Bowser to find some very early kill percentage, especially against a smaller target like a Squirtle. And Pokemon Trainer, a little bit more of a niche pick, a more difficult hero to play in my opinion, and one that I always enjoy watching. So right now we're going to have to see how well Bobby Time understands not one or two, but all three of these Pokemon that are available, where Wichita State, Genosis is really going to have to find high value, especially against the Charizard. Find kills with a back air is going to find a very early elimination on the Genosis. Swap back to that Squirtle, look for that early combo once again, and right now Bobby Time looking very good.
Yeah, it's really funny to call a 130% KO on a Bowser early elimination, but it's not wrong. Bowser is the heaviest character in the game by a wide margin, so he typically ends up living to those 150, 170 marks, so getting that kill at 130 is very nice with that back air, and already we see things reset. Great opportunity for extra credit for Bobby Time here. Already racking up 50% and continuing it, but Bowser hits really hard. This should be the kill. That's the Charizard going flying straight up top, but already we're back to 0%, which means it's time for the Squirtle to come out. It's time for him to not be very punishable, and these fast, quick hitboxes can dance around the Bowser. He opts out for the Ivysaur, but Ivysaur is still very similar, very fast, great disjoints that are stuffing Bowser out always.
Yeah, you want to keep that Bowser at a distance, and as Ivysaur, you can find some pretty aggressive offstage value if you can get the Bowser offstage of 140% once again. The stocks are tied, but the percentages are by a notable margin not. Bobby Time definitely has a value here, and can hopefully find some early elimination, or not early elimination, but a valuable elimination once again, keeping Bowser off stage, actually keeping him alive with that Fire Breath there. I don't think the recovery was going to connect, but going to be able to find Genosis back on stage. Bobby Time going to have to find a little bit more value off the side of the stage here if they want to end this any earlier.
Yeah, 183 and the Charizard for Bobby Time means any big hit will certainly do it, but we don't see Genosis getting it over until right there, I guess, and only 85% with no rage on Genosis means that Bobby Time's got one more hit in him to survive. Good DI. Now, the next Bowser Bomb will probably be the end of his stock, so he has to be careful. Great switch into jabs. Going to zone the Genosis off, keep that Bowser at bay, and now we've seen the ledge trapping so far be really, really powerful for Bobby Time, and we'll have to see if he can keep that up and build up a really big extra credit percent lead for himself here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bobby Time, this is the part where they can really start to play a little bit riskier than normal because they've got that extra stock in their back pocket. We see Genosis is already on that last stock, and Bobby Time can get a little angrier with these attacks just to ensure an earlier or a faster elimination.
Yeah, 96% already racked up onto Genosis here. It just, the lead keeps building and building. He really needs to take that stock fast. There it is. And now, a Bowser with Rage can definitely take a stock around 60. I am not ready to count Genosis out. He's at 100, but I think the comeback is very, very possible. But Bobby Time has been the first one to take the stock full stocks. So if history repeats itself, if the pattern continues, he will be walking out as the victor.
Yeah, Bobby Time, like you said, it gets Bowser to that up to that 130, 140, but Bowser can live there for quite a while before really starting to worry about their stock. So right now, Bobby Time have to keep playing that off-stage game, which has really been paying off.
Wow, no DI, I think. No sparks, no kill screen or anything. Genosis went straight up into the blast zone, and that's going to be a relatively early kill for Bobby Time. It's going to earn him a one-stock victory. It's going to earn him one more point for his team, and it's just going to keep snowballing their lead further and further. I believe if Bobby Time wins this next game, he will guarantee victory for Wichita.
Yeah, absolutely. This next game, this was a closer one than I expected to begin with, but if they are able to come out on top of this next one, that is all but, should be a guaranteed win for Wichita.
It's not guaranteed, but it would have to be
Or loss for Wichita, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not a guaranteed victory for DePaul, but it would be at minimum 14-1, which means we would need to see 13 points in 2 matches from the Wichita representatives, which is a double 2 stock is 6 points. So it would have to be a 3 stock and then 3 2 stocks at minimum, which is it's not impossible. I have seen it, but it's a tall order, especially when the rest of your team has shown that your lineup might not be that strong. They might be keeping the best 2 players in the pocket, but we don't really know about the quality from these DePaul players. I know Skullkid is a very strong contender who still has not played for DePaul, so it's going to be a very, very uphill battle if Genosis is not able to clutch it out and win it to take the set for Wichita in a reverse 2-0.
Yeah, that's a very tall glass to fill, and it's going to be a difficult one at that. So they're really going to struggle to find the value, like I said, that they're looking to find this early or this late in the game. So right now, this is really looking great in favor of DePaul.
It's looking very, very good. And as for this match itself, the Pokemon Trainer matchup is a very weird one. I feel like it's so impossible to analyze the Pokemon Trainer matchup because there's 3 characters. Like, you can't win the matchup against 3 different characters. Right? Like, so I feel like that's like the character's biggest strength is there's like, they just have counterplay to everyone. Oh, you're against a big heavyweight, go play Squirtle, right? Just combo them to infinity. Oh, you're against somebody more in the middle, you play a lot more Ivysaur, you're more in the middle, right? So it's just fundamental adaptation we need to see from Genosis. He needs to not fall prey to these full combos as hard. He needs to find those big hits when he matters. I don't think we saw any really big forward airs or back airs coming out from Genosis. It was all Bowser bombs and grapplery style plays, but Bowser does have those really big hitboxes. He can fight back and play the spacing game with, and we haven't seen it coming out from him.
Yeah, the spacing game could make a big value here. The Bobby time on the Squirtle is just so fast, and it's difficult to really combo something that small as a heavy hitter like Bowser. But the Ivysaur can be a little bit easier to find value on, so that's going to be a pretty early combo in favor of Genosis. But Wichita State, like you said, whether or not Genosis comes out on top of this fight, it's going to be very difficult for them to win this series.
Yeah, it's so crucial that Genosis can win against Bobby Time here. Even taking like a 2 stock and still losing the set would mean so much for his team, but already out to an early deficit means it might not happen. It's not a great start for Genosis. He's falling further and further behind to Bobby Time, and we might see the 4th time in a row that Bobby Time takes the stock before Genosis is able to.
Yeah, but this is probably the closest Genosis has ever been to taking the initial stock with his back throw. Yeah, that's going to do it. That's going to be the, again.
I don't know that. Yeah, I think he might have been able to live, but it's very close.
Yeah, that would have been close for sure. Charizard's back throw, just a disastrous thing to be thrown against or thrown from. And really, any percent, it deals quite a lot of damage. And DI, never really in your favor, but I do agree. I think Genosis could have survived that. Now Bobby Time really taking the lead, starting to play that riskier play.
What a huge Charizard combo. Already 77% racked up on Genosis, 82. It's looking so bad. Bobby Time is looking honestly better than he did in Game 1 now, which is not what Genosis needed at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And right now, Bobby Time just really making a game breaker.
Look at his movement.
Much more aggressive than he could have with that other stock.
Oh, man.
Still online. So right now, Bobby Time, all 3 stocks in the bank. Genosis down to their final.
Bobby Time is ramped it up. That was a full stock taken by just the Charizard. I was talking about how good Squirtle is in this matchup, and he doesn't even need it. The Charizard just takes a full stock. He's going to lose his first stock here, but he's not only up a full stock over Genosis, he's also up in percent. It's so brutal when Genosis needs to come in clutch, needs to win. It's Bobby Time who turns things up and is trying to lock the match down for DePaul, for his team. What a great double Razor Leaf combo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great Razor Leaf combo. And Ivysaur, a much heavier hitter than people often think. Ivysaur can do the work and find a lot of damage, especially off stage, incredibly fast.
Yeah, Ivysaur has only been nerfed, and he's been nerfed a lot of times because he's consistently been the shining star of Pokemon Trainer. And now we're back onto the Charizard. That's where the kill pressure is for Bobby Time. He's not even looking to close it out and take the points over Wichita. He's looking to get the 2-stock, and he will find it. He's going to take the 2-stock. He's going to earn 4 more points for his team. He's going to take the difference up to 15-1. 14 points separate the team. That means it needs to be 2 3-stocks and 2 2-stocks without giving any points over if Wichita wants to remain in contention. But my theory is DePaul's Kookie, who's coming up next, is probably going to be the one who's going to close it out for them and just guarantee victory.
Yeah, DePaul, not to insult Wichita or anything they have to offer, but DePaul is just currently better. They just gave an absolutely amazing performance, and there was really no moment of hesitation for them. But right now, we're going to throw it to one more break until we get our new players in here for the final match of these two schools, and we'll see you guys in just a minute.
Not the final match?
Not the final match. I'm lying. There's 2 more. I thought there was 1 more. Whatever.
Welcome back. We are bringing you Game 4 between DePaul University and Wichita State. We have the representative from DePaul, Cookie, on this going up against Wichita State's Lenny on Mega Man, and already out the gate, it is a very, very strong lead for Cookie on this Palutena, 60%, but a good parry is going to be a little bit more going back in the way of Lenny.
Yeah, Palutena, definitely just a very powerful hero, and a hero that has a lot of abilities unmatched by other heroes, so I'm not surprised. She's got a very strong lead. She's got insane aerials. She's got great close protection and far damage. She's really a very versatile hero if you can kind of know how to use her kit.
Yeah. I like to say that Palutena doesn't do anything crazy, but everything she does is crazy, you know?
Yep. Absolutely. I could not have said that better. She just has so much cannon fodder lined up in her ability to really exist as a whole. She really does. Like I mentioned already, she's got close damage, she's got far damage, she's got great aerials, she's got great ground cover, and that's just all she really needs to be great. And there
she's got a great forward air right there.
Forward air, arguably one of her strongest moves.
No, Palutena is just an incredibly strong all-around champion. She doesn't do any one thing incredibly well. There's no cheese, there's no gimmick. She's just fundamentally insane. And we see that coming out. We see crazy pressure from Cookie on this Palutena, using her to great potential against Lenny. Already a full stock ahead, making the percent even lapping Lenny here means it's going to be a very, very convincing lead out the gate for Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie really establishing a dominance here over Mega Man. And Mega Man, a difficult hero to play regardless of who you're up against. A lot of projectile-based as well. And again, same with our link earlier, we're not seeing projectiles, I think, as much as we need to make Mega Man worth it. But we now see Mega Man getting aggressive early on, trying to find close value and close range, and that's going to be the key to their success. But they are almost lapped entirely on a stock, and they're going to have to make some magic.
Yeah, it's just... the one saving grace about Palutena is she doesn't kill you early. Every time Palutena kills you, you're either getting gimped by something really dumb, or you're at 120, right? Like, you're not getting killed by Palutena at 80. All of your stocks go the distance, especially when you're a character as heavy as Mega Man, which is nice because it means Palutena has a hard time absolutely running away with a lead off of something stupid, but because Palutena is so good at racking up percent, she can still run away with the lead, just like we're seeing here. We already see the second stock being taken from Wichita's Lenny, and Cookie is just still rocking only 56% on his first one, as we see an absolutely nasty string come through for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And now still down an entire stock, but not completely out of the fight. Mega Man can pack quite a punch for being such a small hero, but it's going to be difficult against specifically a Palutena to find the value you need.
Yeah, Palutena, a character very hard to make a comeback on. She's not very gimpable. She's not very susceptible to combos. She's great at breaking out of things. It's so difficult to play against the character. She just does everything so well. And we see Cookie trying to close it out here, trying to fish for that up air to close out the stock. A 2-stock for Cookie right here would guarantee victory for his team.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And that's, like you said, that's going to guarantee the victory. So if Cookie's able to find this elimination right now, that's going to be the highest valuable thing.
Yeah. Or I guess it wouldn't guarantee victory. It would guarantee a tie at worst for his team, which is... if it goes to tiebreakers, I have pretty high confidence in DePaul here, so I think it kind of guarantees a victory. And that's going to be what it is, a 2-stock victory from some absolutely clean Palutena play by Cookie. I have absolutely no complaints. Everything he did was absolutely bread and butter, solid Palutena gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. The Palutena gameplay has been impressive, to say the very least. And like we talked about, she's not a gimmick hero. She's not a hero or a character that, you're just doing this. No, you have a great understanding of this character and how to play them. And that is making an absolute world of difference for Cookie right now.
And playing against Palutena is so hard, right? Because, like, if you play against, like, a Wario, right? It's like, he's got this aerial ability, but as long as I figure out the matchup, I stay in shield, I dodge the waft, I can make it happen. Like, you don't figure out the Palutena matchup. Like, if you lose to a Palutena, they're just better. Like,
honestly.
Like, they're, like, everything Palutena does is so fundamentals based that, like, yeah, you can like talk about tier lists, you can talk about some jank here and there, but like if Palutena is beating you, it's because they're a good player. You can't argue that. Yeah. So like there's no silver bullet. It's so hard to be like, what does Linny do here in this matchup? Because the advice for playing against Palutena is like just be a better player than you currently are, and you can't just do that. Like there's I think one aspect of your game you can clean up, right?
Yeah, I think you gave the best phrasing there. There is no silver bullet against a Palutena. She is just, like you said, just better. And that is something unfortunate, but something that happens in Smash. We can't all be the best and we can't all win every matchup. So it's really, that was a really good way to put that.
That being said, I do think the easiest thing to spot in Linny's gameplay is his use of projectiles. He's not doing enough to stuff out Palutena's approaches. The lemons are very, very powerful for when Palutena has to jump at you. That is a big weakness of the character. Probably her biggest weakness is she's very bad at approaching with grounded moves. They're great defensive options. She can poke with down tilt and F tilt, but she can't approach you with them. She needs to jump to get in on you or go for a grab, which means lemons are incredibly effective. She can't walk up and shield to approach because she has to be in the air.
Yeah, that's a great observation as a whole, and I think we see neither of these people swapping characters. I mean, if you're Palutena, why would you? But we're going to go to Kalos, which is a different play style and a different map. There's, again, not really a lot of room to go, so this actually might give our Mega Man a mild advantage, as the Palutena can only approach from so many angles. Yeah.
And Kalos, importantly, is a very tall stage, which means those explosive flames and those up airs, and even the up smashes to some extent, will not be killing nearly as early, but it does mean the Nair and the back air are going to be much powerful, because it is also a relatively narrow stage as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A narrow stage, and like you said, very high blast zones up top, but very close blast zones on either side, which may actually help value Mega Man in terms of throws off map, off stage throws. Palutena can get just as much, if not more, value off the sides with that back air, that forward air, any of her smash abilities. So it really could go either way, and right now, this is already much closer than we saw in our first round.
Yeah, out the gate, it's definitely much closer. It's an early lead in Cookie's favor, but it's not nearly as bad as the start of Game 1. He's finding some really great strings, and now that bomb connecting means Palutena's gonna have to shield. Cookie's gonna eat the pressure, gonna eat the percent, and now percent's basically, even in Linny, is able to find the first stock with that forward air off the side. Those closed blast zones coming into play here already. And the tall blast zone saving him from the explosive flame as well. Great stage pick. It's already being so important for him. He loses his stock to the back throw, but that's fine. Percent's back to 0-0, and Linny already looking so much better.
Yeah, without a doubt, the projectile's coming out a lot more, and that is, we can only say it's so much the biggest difference maker between these two characters.
Yes. The neutral game, the Leaf Shield, again, is such a great tool in this matchup. Palutena doesn't have incredible disjoints except for that back air. Her back air has that disjoint, that invulnerable hitbox on it. That makes it hard to punish, but the forward air, the Nair, can all get stuffed out very easily by that Leaf Shield, and it's something I want to see more of from Linny on this Pac-Man. It's such a good tool at making Palutena's life that much more awkward in the matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mega Man just really needs to find value off these projectiles. I can't say that enough. That's pretty much it. You play the projectile game a little bit better, you space yourself a little bit better, and that's going to make all the difference.
Great up smash out of shield. And yeah, we see Linny playing slower, sending out more of these projectiles, Palutena being forced into the explosive flaming, not the greatest projectile. It can clip you if you're not careful, just like that, but it's something that's relatively easy to play around compared to Mega Man's projectiles, and it's putting in great value for Linny. He finds that hit to even up, or to take the stock, and now it's Linny with the lead. An unfortunate death for him there, but still a small percent lead, even stocks. It's completely doable for him here.
Yeah, doable indeed. It's going to be even stocks, the mildest of percentage advantage here. Yeah. And right now, projectiles coming out and making all the difference. Right now, going to get comboed by Palutena in the air. It's arguably the scariest place for her to be. So right now, you're just going to have to play. Oh, wow! I thought that had
almost the GIMP,
very close, almost the GIMP. But looks like Cookie definitely getting a much more aggressive run for their money than round one.
Yeah, this is a much better showing from Winnie. He's definitely gotten a little bit more used to the pressure that Palutena is able to put on the table. He's holding his own space much better. And 92-92, as dead even as it could be, both players just looking for some opening to put their opponent into kill percent. We see a back air come through for Cookie. That's not quite what he wanted. It's not enough of an opening. That dash tag opens things a little bit more, and now Lenny really has to start being careful.
Yeah, now they're both in their last stock, arguably last hit scenario. They're getting very high value with the forward air from public. The scariest thing, yeah, I think that was a back air. The scariest thing is that can kill you at a much lower percentage. So to beat Mega Man in the position he's in now, you really got to watch out and kind of tuck your tail a little bit.
These explosive flames are looking like a lot of fishing, but it's such a safe move at that distance. You can look at it as Cookie. Great grab to punish the up smash, but from center stage to back there won't kill. But now, Palutena's ledge trapping is incredibly powerful. Cookie opts to not go for it, goes for the explosive flame, but the dash tag takes it. Cookie takes it with a 1 stock in game 2. He earns 3 more points for himself, brings the total to 20-1. And remember, N City in game 5 could only earn 8 points for his team. The best he could possibly do is to bring it to 17-9, which means DePaul University have locked in victory on the back of Cookie's victory, and they will be earning this match onto their record for themselves as a win.
Yeah, and that's arguably the best place to really be, all things considered. You know, nobody wants to lose. You want to win always. But before we jump into our last one that we are going to run through, even though we have a secure victor, we're going to go to a break, get them back in here. We'll see you guys in just a minute. You know the drill by now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're bringing you Game 5 between DePaul University and Wichita State, and this is a little bit more of a for-fun match. DePaul University has already locked in their victory. The score is currently 20-1, and we have Skull Kid on the nest, repping Sands a little bit, I guess, going up against Wichita State University's N City on this Palutena, and already... God, I hate Palutena's up B sometimes. Wow. Ooh, not much you can do about that one. That just happens sometimes. That's like
a series of unfortunate events there.
Yeah. That up B bounce has been in the game since day one, and they have never fixed it.
That was an
no idea why.
No, wait!
Counter SD. Oh, good save by Sportsman.
That was rough.
But even with that SD aside, out the gate, Skull Kid off to an early lead. He's got the percent for himself. He's playing really well against this Palutena. Oh, wow. You can't do him like that.
Yeah, but right now, Skull Kid
can't do that to people. That's so rude. 3 stocks to 1, and Skull Kid is out here playing for some swag. The magnet combo. Oh, he went so deep for it. Skull Kid is definitely playing fast and loose. He knows his team won, and he's trying to farm clips on stream.
Yeah, that really does seem like that's what's going on here. Skull Kid just absolutely taking Palutena to the bank with these hits and these just rapid eliminations, finding incredible value off of very high-risk plays.
Oh my god, can he make it back? He can. Oh, the yo-yo clips though, but we do see M-City living. A little string's getting interrupted by a Nair out of disadvantage, and the tail clips into a Gib. Skull Kid. Incredibly, yeah, 5-5, yeah. Skull Kid picks up an incredibly clean game 1, a 2-stock victory over N City, and I don't even know what to say. That was just brutal.
Yeah, Skull Kid, a little bit of a tank, a little bit of a beast there.
Yeah, a little smurfing.
Ness is not a character. I mean, he's good, but he's not one you see dunk on people quite that aggressively.
Yeah,
and that was a very impressive thing from Skull Kid as a whole. I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay on that Ness. I mean, if it's not broke, there's no need to fix it.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any reason to switch off the Ness right now. All right. When I was talking earlier about Palutena, I was saying when you win, it's because you're the better player. When you lose on Palutena, it's typically because you're the worst player.
Yeah,
I'm not. That's just how it is.
Up against Palutena, as we mentioned, it's simply because Palutena tends to be better. And now we just see when you're not better, like
when you're not better, this is what this character looks like. Yeah, like Palutena has all the advantages of being an honest character, but she also has all the disadvantages of being an honest character.
Yep, absolutely. She has no gimp, so if you're the worst player, you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, like Palutena is really, really, really good. She's like a top 5 character. So if you have good fundamentals, she actually just makes you look insane. But if you don't have good fundamentals, it doesn't matter how good Palutena is. You can't play her.
Absolutely. And we're going to jump right back in. Nobody's changing anything. Yeah. The only thing that's going to change maybe our map. So coming up, we're going to see what our map will be. The issue is I think Ness gets value on any map, and that's probably the scariest thing about it.
It is. But Palutena, a great character on Kalos. The flat stage, she's a really great character because she has ladder combos, so she loves tri-flats, but she also loves flat stages because she has amazing nair and forward airs to carry you across a flat stage. So Kalos is a stage that works very, very well for Palutena, but it also enables a lot of projectile-based gameplay for this mess. And out the gate, we see Skull Kid getting some really, really good early percent for himself. And a great back air is going to catch N-City trying to move.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very, very efficient elimination for Ness to only get 50% when that starts. Now up to 90, which isn't going to be great for getting back on the stage. Kind of reestablishes that lead that they have, because being caught in the air, like I mentioned earlier, by a Palutena is probably the worst place to be.
It's so bad. Every single one of Palutena's aerials is like disgusting.
Yeah,
you don't want to be in the air against Palu, but 94% on Skull Kid. Not too terrible. He's safe, but it's definitely better than N-City was looking last game, but already 60% on N-City's second stock means he is not going to be comfortable, and he gets caught by the tail of the lightning, but he does recognize it. He makes it back 91% though. Not very comfortable. Skull Kid's recovery is very gimpable. We don't see N-City capitalized though. Great play from Skull Kid. Now another 2-stock lead for him. 122 means that explosive flame should kill, but Kalos is so tall that it doesn't matter.
The roof specifically is just so high up that it's going to be really easy to survive any move that throws you up like that. And Skull Kid really looking to take this 3-stock lead.
He is looking to take a 3-stock, just blow up DePaul's lead even further, add insult to injury. And with 74% on Palutena and Rage on Skull Kid, it's looking incredibly possible.
Yeah, honestly, that's a little powerhouse. It hits a lot harder than you'd expect. And that back
air looks scary.
Okay,
the dash attack doesn't connect though. Oh, that could have stopped the
very
stop.
lucky there. Yeah, that was really good luck there. Oh, and there, yeah,
Pixels away, and that's the 3-stock. Skull Kid absolutely running over N-City. The most convincing victory comes in when it doesn't even matter.
No doubt.
That has to feel so good for DePaul to get that 2-stock, 3-stock at the end.
Yeah, they've got him on the anchor for a reason, and that's without a doubt because he is very clearly their hardest hitter.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
With that, I believe that is going to be the end of these two schools, DePaul and Wichita, and that's going to be not the end of our night by a long shot, but the end of these two schools. So don't go far because we're going to be back in literal minutes, and we'll see you guys in just a little bit with two brand new schools that we'll talk about when we see you then.
But before we go, I would like to say that if you enjoyed our casting, remember to follow the channel. Remember to press that button. You can also find us on Twitter at @officialegf. And if you like my voice, if you like my style, you can find me on Twitter at toxic_gerbil, as well as my co-caster Septilence, I'm sure is all over the media as well.
It's the same name, Septilence. There's nothing special. You can find me on Twitter at the same name. And yeah, we're all over the place.
We're going to send it to a quick little break.
Yeah, so we'll send it to a break. Follow us while you're at it. And we'll see you guys soon.
right now to bring you the match between Canisius College and Marist College. Both these teams played in the last season of EGF, the founding season of EGF. So very exciting. These players have been around for a while. They are really great players. We have Anagram, the Lucas player. He's been killing it for a long time on this pick, going up against Flapjack on this another incredibly good, incredibly powerful, incredibly deadly character. And out the gate, Flapjack is absolutely running over Anagram, racking up early percent.
Yeah, and just playing Chrom against a Lucas is going to find a lot of early value if you can get close up and find damage. But Anagram definitely able to find more combos early on if they can stop being juggled around so aggressively. Right now, Anagram definitely on the downside. That's going to be a fantastic combo just with that up B, find a lot of value. And now Anagram is about 20% deep into their kill zone, so they've really got to be careful now on how they engage.
Yeah, every time I see Chrom hit a raw up B, I always forget that it's like actually a good move, and I just think of the casual spamming it. Well, like it's like actually good, so I can't blame them. It just like it feels wrong every time it happens.
Absolutely, there are a few things scarier than a Chrom that actually knows how to use up B.
Yeah. But like this, like out of shield, it's just disgusting. It's like 15-20%. It's like super unpunishable hits. It's crazy, and the back air secures it. Chrom's aerials are incredibly strong, his ground mobility is incredibly strong. The only downside is that he's very gimpable, but Anagram on this Lucas is not playing a character that's incredibly good at finding those gimps. It would have to be something like a PK Thunder, and already out the gate, only 45% on Flapjack. Anagram already missing a stock.
Yeah, Flapjack definitely has the advantage here, which is, you'd think the Lucas would have a lot of value, just able to move around faster and get a little bit more damage in from a distance. But right now, Flapjack just has a very aggressive advantage.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how few PK fires we're seeing connecting. It's not like Nest that goes diagonally down. As Lucas, you could just jump and throw that PK fire, and it covers so much horizontal space. And Chrom is a character who really relies on abusing horizontal space. He runs very fast. He wants to cover distance in a blink. So if you just kind of passively throw out those PK fires, they're very, very hard to punish, and they can get you a lot of value. And we haven't seen that happen. Almost a PK rocket connecting, but not quite. But while I was talking, we did see Anagram put a lot of percent onto Flapjack on this Chrom, and now he's sitting within kill percent, only 60% on Anagram. That's definitely good, solid extra credit for Flapjack, but he's not running away with his lead.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh, wow, that's going to be a fantastic.
Great down smash.
Yeah, the down smash just barely reaches over the edge and finds that elimination. All of a sudden, Anagram looking much, much better.
Yeah, no, now it looks completely fine for Anagram. He was able to keep things relatively close. 60% is not an absolute blowout, even extra credit. And now he's warming up to the matchup. Yeah, he's warming up to the matchup. He's finding his own strengths, and it looks completely even. It looks a lot more competitive than it did at the start. And yeah, just great spacing. We're seeing Anagram play things slower, and we're seeing Flapjack have to work a lot more to actually make his approaches work against Anagram.
Yeah, Anagram definitely adapting very efficiently and very quickly in regards to taking out Flapjack on this Chrom, because he needs to know his distance, he needs to know when to engage with just physicality or when to engage with the abilities and the projectiles that Lucas has in his kit. And right now, that is all making all the difference, is this new engagement of projectiles that we definitely were not seeing in the early game here.
Yeah, it's just absolutely turned up. It feels like Anagram started out losing. It was like, oh wait, I'm playing Lucas. I need to like actually remember to play my character real quick. And he turned it on. Now, percent dead even. The next big hit is going to take a stock. Lucas has some incredibly strong moves, but so does Chrom, obviously. And that Zair forward tilt is really strong. Great lighting, not going to get great awareness by Flapjack, but he holds on to the ledge for too long, gets caught, and now things are back to dead even as a solid back air evens up the count. His last stock 0% on both players. It's a banger game one from what looks to be pretty one-sided at the start.
Yeah, one-sided indeed. It's going to be a very aggressive thing to see. It really went from one-sided to incredibly, it could go either way. There's a 2% difference between these two right now, and Anna definitely coming back much more aggressive than we saw early on. We talked about that already. The Flapjack had a stranglehold on the match at the weekend, but Anagram has adapted so aggressively and so quickly that they've really been able to turn this series around. Not quite yet in their favor, but they're getting dangerous.
Really close. I think that might have killed. Chrom's recovery is kind of poo-poo. I think he might have died with that PK thrust, sending him off stage. That was so close to the odds being over. But he lives, he doesn't get hit by it, and now he's building up percent. Things are back to even. He's got a small lead for himself, and kill percent for Chrom is definitely lower than it is for Lucas, so Flapjack really going to start having kill pressure a little bit before Anagram does if things keep up at this pace, but 105 more now that this, oh, he's dead. Oh my god, that lightning angle just sent at an absolutely disgusting spot for Flapjack to be in. He's not able to do that. Crom's recovery is bad.
Yeah,
and
bad to say
makes it. And that's a one stock from what looked to be a really, really dire start for Anagram.
Arguably one of the closest matches we've seen tonight. Anagram definitely adapting much faster than a lot of normal people would be in playing the situation and playing this game as a whole. But yeah, like you said, that one stock victory does put Anagram on top of that engagement. I agree, really looked one-sided, but then all of a sudden that adaptation came through. Like you said, oh yeah, I'm playing Lucas, and then that made all the difference.
It literally just looked like he turned on a part of his brain. It was like, oh yeah, cool. I know how to play this character. It's like I actually play smart and win. And then he did win. So that's going to be Anagram taking game one. For game two, I expect to see... I don't know. I feel like normally Crom is a very big fan of flat stages, but PK Fire is such a good tool at shutting down Crom on a stage like Final Destination. I feel like he's going to need somewhere with some platforms to make things happen. I feel like the answer is probably going to be Smashville if we don't see it pan out.
Yeah, Smashville definitely a possibility, and I think Crom's in a difficult position here because he almost needs like a tri-platform or even just a double platform map to ensure that he has the ability to get away from Lucas. Like that's really what it comes down to. Is if you don't have those platforms and you just have to run at Lucas face first, you're gonna pay for that repeatedly. So he's really gonna have to either aggressively adjust his play style or hope for a tri-platform map. And as we move into our map, which I haven't had the chance to see what it is yet, I think the map could really make all the difference between these two.
Yeah, the map is very, very important in this matchup. And it's going to be the same characters. They said they're running it back to Town and City, not Smashville. Same game, different stage. But same characters, same map. It's the salty run back. I think after his early lead, Flapjack feels very confident and he kind of let it slip. I don't think he thinks it's the matchup that's the problem. I don't think he thinks it's the stage that's the problem. I think it is just he made some mistakes. Anagram was able to get the better of him in the end. And I do think in this matchup, this is a very, very solid stage for the Crom to go to. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see Flapjack kind of trying to come back because, like you said, very confident after that very early engagement and lead. And they know that this can come down to the wire. They know they can come out on top of this because matches don't get that close on accident. That really means these players are incredibly equally skilled. So Flapjack
once again, a great early string. Oh, yes, that's what you got to do in this match.
That was nasty, but still
Anagram. The drift. Such good drift by Anagram to avoid any kind of ledge trapping option from Flapjack. Super smart, super intelligent, and a parry online to get out of disadvantage as well. We're on this final station Kalos type transformation. The up B not quite going to kill, but Anagram back in disadvantage. Great ledge trap, great F tilt from Flapjack is going to give him an early stock lead and only 69% to his name. Means he's going to have plenty of time for extra credit. But remember, this is exactly how game one started as well, and we know how that ended up.
Yeah, like you said, this is exactly what we saw early on, and then Anagram just turned on whatever switch in their brain was off beforehand, really began to take an aggressive lead. So if Flapjack can keep up the momentum they have right now and just constantly be juggling this Lucas, it's going to be very easy to come out on top. But if they give Anagram any room to even exist for a moment, just like that, they're going to end up paying for it.
Yeah. Oh, what a powerful tool in the matchup. PK Thunder just absolutely destroys Crom. His recovery is so linear. There's only one spot he can do. You can't really mix up the timing when PK Thunder's out for that long either. So it's just such an insane tool. And you're basically just rolling the dice on what hitbox you get. And that's 2 in a row. We saw the absolute game hitbox coming out of the PK Thunder. And now it's Anagram back with the lead, comboing Crom off of that Angel platform. 84% to 49 means that Anagram just once again completely reversed the matchup.
Yeah, Anagram just always a little bit sloppy at the start, but that clearly does not matter as they somehow are always able to come out on top when it matters most.
And now 130 with Crom off stage means he's not even going to be able to make it back to the ledge. That PK Thunder just zones so hard. It's so hard to get around it. And now it's a stock lead for Anagram, and a pretty sizable one at that. Only 71% means that he might be able to hold on to it for a little while. We're going to need to see one more hit from Flapjack before Anagram is really in kill percent. He's there now. He's off stage. It's looking like it might be a ledge trap now, but a great recovery is not quite enough anyway. And once again, we're back to basically even. It's like 1 or 2 hits from Flapjack from dead even percent. That's basically going to tie it up right there.
Yeah, like you said, basically going to tie it up 3% difference right now. And even though Anagram had a great recovery, forward smash, sometimes he just gets the job done, finds Anagram off the map like that. 60%, there's a 2% difference.
Oh, the stage, like he makes it back, okay.
It's like almost comes through the elimination, but they make it back in the recovery. Again, talking about how bad Crom's recovery is, the third time Flapjack successfully used it. That's something you don't see very often. But right now, it's really going to come down to who finds the next big hit.
Percent's dead even. Oh, you have to get that throw out earlier.
Yeah, you really do it.
The dash attack!
Attack takes Anagram off the map, and that is still going to be tied up. It's a 1-game victory for both teams, and that's a 1-stock victory. So it's even at the moment.
It's so close. It's absolutely down to the wire between these two players. Both games going to last stock, last hit type scenarios. We're 1-1 going into game 3, and before we get into game 3, we're going to need to take it to a quick little break for technical difficulties. So we will be getting back to you in just a few moments as we get it sorted out. About that. Our producer's having a little bit of trouble with his Wi-Fi. We're trying to keep things running as smoothly as possible here, though, so we got it fixed pretty quickly, I think, and we're back into it. Remember, this is an incredibly close, incredibly tense matchup between these two players. It's a 1-1. Both games going to last stock high percent scenarios. So keep your eyes peeled. This is a huge, huge matchup right now.
Yeah, this is a huge matchup indeed. Again, 1% difference in this fight. It's just happened so many times. These two have come just neck and neck down to the wire every engagement they have, and just barely we've seen Anna come out on top. But no, then just when we thought they were, we saw Flapjack turn it around and come out on top as well. So now as we are in this game 3 engagement, it really comes down to who can really perform in this final hour.
It all comes down to that clutch factor. We're on Pokemon Stadium 2, a very, very large stage with trade-offs for both players, right? It gives Lucas plenty of room to throw projectiles and set up a little bit of zoning, but it gives plenty of room for Crom to run away and force the Lucas to approach, meaning that he really gets to dictate the flow of the matchup on this stage.
Absolutely, and Lucas, that's exactly where Lucas wants to be. They want to be the one creating the momentum of the fight and really choosing when the fight takes place and where it happens. Because Lucas can get a lot of value off stage and on side stage, and just like
dash attack goes like that.
We're gonna see dash attack, and no, and there's
immediately a forward tilt.
kill takes him out. So again, incredibly close. We're down 2 stocks each, 0% on live.
It's just as close as it can be the entire way through, and you have to believe whoever wins this game 1 will take momentum for their team going forward. It always feels better to be playing as the team with the lead. There's less weight on your shoulders. You don't have as much pressure riding on you. You don't have to make the comeback happen. So there's a lot on the line for each team here, for each player to really make happen.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line indeed, and like you said, this is going to be a great momentum booster for whichever team is able to come out on top, which of course right now looks like Flapjack, but we'd get a serious sense of deja vu if this turns around in Anagram's favor once again.
Oh yeah, Anagram has turned these around plenty of times so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Lucas has that kill potential, or is in that kill zone right now, so right now has to play much more careful than normal. And Flapjack able to find some value, but it's going to be difficult to really chase down a hero as quick and aggressive as Lucas.
That's not safe, but the punish isn't in fast enough. Anagram barely gets out his shield in time, and he doesn't find the gimp on the recovery. That's so important, but we've been talking this whole time, and that percent's back to even. Anagram is... Oh
no! Oh
no!
Oh, Anagram may have just thrown the series away with that accidental recovery.
Oh, but remember, it's still close. Think they're back to dead even. Absolutely as even as it can be in Anagram. That's going to be huge percent.
That looks like that may have been what Anagram was trying to do last time, but instead threw themselves the wrong direction. But now, 70% lead final stock for a last stock for both players. And right now, Anagram has a pretty aggressive lead.
Yeah, a very aggressive lead. 50% here. Definitely only one or two solid combos from the Crom can't even it up, but Lucas is like a zoning character. He does want to build up that percent incrementally, but he's not going to be able to use down to disadvantage as Flapjack plays incredibly clean on this Crom, finds some really, really good hits, and now another forward smash like that would certainly even up the game with Anagram at 89%. And he just looks so stuck in disadvantage. He can't find his footing. He can't do anything to Flapjack. And this ledge trap with the Crom is so powerful.
Yeah, no doubt. And Anagram definitely showing off their Achilles heel here, only choosing to use the roll get up on the side of the stage. Did it 6 times in a row. Did not choose to utilize any other recovery type. And really, we saw Flapjack take massive advantage of that, dumping nearly 70% into air.
What? The air dodge past ledge. He tried to go past the PK Thunder, but he got clipped and then air dodged instead. So he just fell straight past the ledge. That's such a way for it to end. It's Anagram taking it in the 1 stock victory over Flapjack. He earns 2 points for the win, 1 point for the game, and we're in a situation I've seen a lot of times over the months I've been doing this. It's 4 points to 1 in Marist College's favor after set 1. Things are about as close as they can possibly be going forward, but it is that small lead for Marist that Zucchini is going to try and keep running in his matchup against Canisius College's MKL Rising in just a few minutes.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. We're going to head into a break, and we'll see you guys in just a few minutes with 2 new players.
Hello, we are getting straight into game 2 between Canisius College and Marist College. We have KC on the Pikachu. He has had some really good showings on Pikachu so far, all throughout the season. Going up against Zucchini on the Bowser. Zucchini, a player with very deep pockets. We've seen him on the Steve, we've seen him on the Ridley, and today we are seeing him on the Bowser. Already out to a little bit of a deficit, but he's been keeping things completely even so far, going back and forth with KC so far in game 1.
Yeah, last time I cast KC, he put on an absolute masterclass of how to play this Pikachu. Right now, he is struggling a little bit more against Zucchini on the Bowser, and it's going to be difficult as Pikachu to survive against the Bowser, because even if you have the percent advantage, you are launchable at a much earlier percent, especially against a heavy hitter like Bowser. So KC is going to have to play much more defensively than normal, and you've just got to hope that pays off. But right now, he is already well into his kill zone, and it is a literal tie to the point of the percentage, 107.5.
And you have to remember, Pikachu is a character who is known for lacking kill power, right? He doesn't have those raw moves that will just kill you. It has to come off of a setup, and those setups are going to kill so much later against this Bowser. But Bowser, by no means lacking kill power. That Bowser bomb off the top platform takes a very nice, clean stock off of Casey and gives Zucchini a solid lead with a lot to work with, but a great read. Doesn't even kill, right? That's how weak Pikachu can be from time to time, and how much of an advantage Bowser has in terms of kill power in this matchup. It's very rough for him.
Yeah, a horrible combination of how weak Pikachu can be and how heavy Bowser can be. So it's really a double deficit for KC here, as they're trying to take out the heaviest character in the game with arguably one of the weakest hitters.
Dunk,
down here. Yeah, Dunk is going to help you turn it around a little bit. 70% deficit right now, so it's going to be tough to turn around.
Yeah, it's a great dunk, but dunk is a move that'll kill at any percent. So when you hit it when your opponent's at 180, it doesn't feel that great. Anything's gonna kill it, right? But then when your opponent, you're at 90, and your opponent hits you with an up smash at the ledge and you die, it doesn't feel so good.
Yeah, no, definitely does not feel too good. And right now it's going to be a full stock deficit for KC, who just, like we said, really struggling against this heavy hitter that is Bowser.
Yeah, really struggling. A full stock lead. 100% on this Bowser means that if the ledge trap continues, which it looks like it's going to, he could be losing his stock pretty soon, but it's Zucchini getting back to stage, getting his footing back himself, even catching a grab for a reversal, trying to push forward for some extra credit here. And the longer this goes, the more and more Casey really starts falling behind.
Yeah, KC now almost 50% last stock. And Zucchini has another stock under their belt after this 113, could still maybe get 40 or 50% before Pikachu can really find an easy kill on them. So right now, KC has a very tall order to fill.
Yeah, the down smash. At 120, look at the down smash, barely send anywhere. It feels so bad in this matchup. You need to get so much percent off of Pikachu's incredible combo game, but we haven't seen that be a factor. Great DI to survive the Bowser bomb, but at 117 is Pikachu, and you haven't even taken Zucchini's second stock. It feels so bad. You really kind of might have to get into the mindset of just playing to take this one stock here, because we are in a format where every stock matters. But KC won't get a chance. Zucchini completes the 2-stock victory for himself, earns 2 more points for Marist, and now starts to widen the lead a little bit. He brings the lead 6-1, and it's looking better for Marist here. Looking like they're more going to try and shut out.
Yeah, most definitely. Marist, they're kind of struggling a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a swap come from Casey off that Pikachu, because that's...
I don't think so. I think he's pretty committed to the character, but...
I think we are going to throw to a quick break really quick.
Keep you in anticipation.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys on the edge of your seat. Don't go far. We'll be back in just a minute.